the goal against FCS Western Carolina was certainly ho-hum. You didn't get that. Way too close for comfort for way too long against a team that's way not even close to as talented as you. But then they pulled away late, and then it got interesting. Did it not? Aggieland, welcome inside the TexAg studios today. We're doing a live edition again for back-to-back weeks of our post-game wrap, the TexAg's post-game wrap presentation of Tom Light Chevrolet. You can shop online at tomlight.com. The Aggies win it over Western Carolina 41-17. Stats indicate, blowout victory. The Aggies played well. Yeah. Eye test. That's a buzzword in college football these days, is it not? Eye test indicates absolutely otherwise. We'll dive into it. The Aggies improved to 7-3. Western Carolina falls to 6-4. Gabe Bach and Jordan Pugh with you on CW8 Aggieland and TexAgs.com. Jordan, I know you're going in here and you've got all these different thoughts. You don't know exactly where you're going to shape them, so I'm going to tell you, where do you want to kick it off? And then we'll go from there. Your overall opening thoughts on this one.
Okay, my overall thoughts. I don't know what to think. I honestly don't know what to think.
Who does?
It's one of those where it was kind of just a blah kind of game. It's like you said, it was too close for comfort. In the end, we pulled away.
See, blah is what I was hoping for. Blah, I was hoping we'd come in here and go, well, we learned nothing about A&M.
Yes, but the problem is when I say blah,
because I wanted to pound this team 63-7 and learn nothing in doing it.
Well, here's the thing: there was no physicality, there was no just domination. That's why I call it blah. It's kind of just, if you look at the stats look great. So if I didn't watch the game, if I was out and I couldn't see it, and I went in and I looked at the box score, I'm like, oh yeah, we killed them.
Absolutely.
But if you watched the game, if you were there in person, saw it on TV, it was kind of like
it was 21-14 at halftime.
Yeah, it's kind of like, what's the deal? But I think as a whole, it was good. There's some problems. There's some obvious problems.
The same problems that have been problems for most of this year reared their ugly head again.
I think, or let's just say it, Kyler Murray gives you an added dimension to the offense. But last week, I said that at some point he's gonna have to beat you with his arm. There could have been a possibility of 5 interceptions today. 5. 4 were dropped.
Yeah, you guys were talking to me about a pick 6 that was dropped. Now, I had all 3 of my kids here tonight, and so I had my head on a swivel tonight. And so I don't remember the pass, but you said it was in and out of the hands.
Yeah, it was in and out. It was on the Western Carolina sideline. I want to say going towards the north side.
Okay.
I want to say it was the north side. I could be wrong. But that could have been a pick 6. So, you look at the 4 other drops. The first interception of the game, that doesn't really concern me. That's just youth. That's literally just being a freshman. You already knew where you were going. You made your decision before the snap even happened. That stuff happens. You learn and you mature from that. What concerns me is the other dropped interceptions. That's what concerns me. It's because
those are still poor throws and a better team picks them.
Yeah, poor throws, better team picks them, but he didn't learn from his mistakes. Mm-hmm. That's what it kind of, I'll put it like this. What I saw out of Murray, I kind of saw out of Allen when he was struggling. So Murray's used to flourishing. He's used to winning. He's used to, him having his way. Now he's kind of in that rut. He's kind of in that, can he fight himself out?
Yeah.
So it's one of those deals.
His head is spinning right now.
Exactly.
Because he's a true freshman.
It's one of those deals where, okay, that was bad. The good, as always, Trey Carson. So I think Carson had
109.
109 yards rushing, averaged 6.5 yards a carry.
Okay, always, but here's my issue with that.
Yeah.
Trey Carson on the first 2 drives, remember the first drive was a run and then an interception.
Right.
So on his first 2 drives, he was sitting up there with 62 yards and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
He was outstanding on that second drive.
Right.
Now, were they just trying to say, okay, we know Trey can run on these guys. Let's use this game as a learning experience for number 1 and make this be about Kyler moving forward? Because I don't understand why they didn't go more with Trey Carson when that clearly was working. And then you look up and 3 drives later, he only has a couple of carries after he was gashing them.
I can see it being that, getting Kyler the experience. But at the same time, this is a perfect game to get the running game going. Why not do that? Now, people know that we can spread it out. People know that we can use the quarterback, especially Kyler, to get out of the pocket and make plays. But the one thing where people don't respect us is in the running game. Now, Trey's been consistent. He's been getting 100 yards, this and that. But when it comes down to controlling the clock, controlling certain downs, we're just not effective in the running game like that. So this is one of those games where I think if you would have got the running game going, it would have opened up Kyler more. A little more confidence, quick rhythm throws. I just don't know why they abandoned it. It seems like they did. They literally abandoned it because he didn't play. I don't know if he was hurt. I don't know if they just decided, hey, it's Western Carolina. We can win with our second and third string guys. So
they abandoned him after a hot start. They went away from him and then didn't use him in the second half. And that, I don't know what happened there. They might have just said, okay, we've seen enough. We know what you can do.
Right.
You don't want to get injured. He's our workhorse. He's got 17 carries. But they didn't go away from the run game necessarily in the second half. And do you think we're focusing too much on the first half? Because in the second half, A&M had 4 drives, other than the one where they kneeled down near the goal line, could have punched that in with Allen. It was field goal, touchdown, showed some pretty efficiency. But I think a lot of us were saying, why not do that from the jump against a team like this? Literally playing against air on defense. They're terrible defensively.
Well, see, I'll tell you this. You said the second half, how we showed some efficiency. I don't think we showed a lot of efficiency in the second half.
Really?
Well,
I thought Dolezal did great. You got first downs, moved the chains.
I'll take that with a grain of salt. Let me say that with a grain of salt, actually. On those 2 touchdown drives, we showed efficiency. But when we had those field goals, that's a problem. And the reason why it was a problem, there were times where we had plenty of opportunities to make plays. It was bad reads by Kyler. It was bad blocking by the offensive line. We abandoned the running game. You didn't see – I don't even think we saw James White in the second half.
Yeah, it was interesting.
So where was Trey Carson? Where was James White?
Although Dolezal was effective.
He was, but at the same time, he's not a James White or a Trey Carson. So, it's one of those deals where, we got – 6 points out of those 2 drives, but we're missing really 14 points. And it's one of those things, it's kind of, yes, it's effective because you got points, but at the same time, let's be honest. You're playing Western Carolina. You should be able to move that ball like it's nothing.
Absolutely. And that's the issue. And they didn't do that early.
And that's why I say the game is blah. It's just... It's positive, but at the same time, I just don't know what to make of it. And we're not even talking about the defense either.
Well, let's do that when we come back. But also, where this game really got interesting was late in the game when Kyle Allen came off the bench and immediately hit Christian Kirk twice for a quick touchdown drive.
Right.
And therein lies another controversy down the stretch. Who would have guessed? We'll talk about that when we come back. It's the Texags postgame wrap. Presentation of Tom Light Chevrolet, TomLight.com. Welcome back. It is the Texags postgame wrap presented by Tom Light Chevrolet. Shop, click, drive at TomLight.com. Gabe Bach, former A&M and NFL defensive back Jordan Pugh, as always. Boy, this become a weekly thing for you. I don't think you missed one of them this year.
I can't do it.
Captain Reliable.
I can't do it,
Even left his car illegally parked on the first one and bolted here to get it right on time.
And I was so happy I found it back in the same spot. You don't understand, man. But I had to come, man. Texags, I had to bring it.
Yeah, it was kind of you almost wanted a boring game. It was too close for comfort. The Aggies did figure it out and start pulling away late. The defense got gashed 1 or 2 too many times against this team. There was that 2-play, 82-yard drive, gave up a 65-yard run. That can happen against this team. Overall, though, the defense only allowed 1 touchdown. The other one was a fumble 6 on the kick return from Christian Kirk, who, by the way, welcome back Christian Kirk.
Right.
That was great to see. A career-high 9 catches, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns, a long punt return. He did make the 1 mistake. That's key moving forward. You got to have your best player step to the forefront.
Right.
Christian Kirk is A&M's best offensive player.
Yeah, he is. Literally, he is right now. When you talk about that, it was good seeing him back. It's good seeing him just get his hands on the ball and make plays with it. You saw the excitement. You saw him really take control of that offense. He was the playmaker. Now, you look at the defense, 137 yards rushing, great.
It felt like 237.
It did, but
it was
less than 150.
Absolutely.
I'll take that all day.
No doubt.
But 302 yards total offense, that's one of the better outings, which I guess you can say is good.
But at the same time, look at the opposition.
It's Western Carolina.
Yeah, we know this defense has issues. They're improving, though.
The defense.
10 tackles for loss. What do? They give up big plays. They also make some big plays, and they made a couple plays. Didn't force too many turnovers. But one of the big plays was right off the bat the Justin Dunning pick.
Our problem is going to be the misdirection. Leone said it last week. We have a problem with the misdirection for whatever reason. I can't figure out if it's the eyes, if it's we're out of gaps. We're not. One problem is we're not containing. With our DNs, with Garrett and Hall, for whatever reason, we're not containing. We have to be able to do that. But to be able to fix that misdirection, we can adjust that. But when you get into Vanderbilt, when you get into LSU, we're going to have to be able to handle that. So I think the 137 was an improvement, but let's be honest, it's Western Carolina.
Amen.
Come on, man. We have to be able to stop that run. That run is the Achilles heel.
I thought Hall was better than Garrett. And I thought, although he lost contain quite a bit, but he had a tackle and a half for loss. And I thought Quaylen Cunningham was the best DN on the field tonight.
Yes. Yeah,
he was very active, yet kept contained. I thought he was good in the run game. He did not get beat over his outside shoulder.
I want to highlight two people, man. Okay. I want to highlight Henderson and I want to highlight Mack. They don't get a lot of the praise, their D tackles. Those two guys, man, all season I've been paying attention. Mm-hmm. All season I've just been watching them. Those have been our two most consistent players on the defense, on the front seven. Let's put it that way. Especially that defensive line, they're manning their gaps. They're flashing when they get the opportunity. They're making plays when they get the opportunity. They're holding up. They still have to work main running game, power game, dives, different things like that. But those two guys, they're really starting to impress me. I think they're forming a nice tandem. Nice tandem.
Yeah, I'll say middle of the field. It's going to be hard for me to say. It's going to be hard for me to put them ahead of a Myles Garrett. Although I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him ahead of Myles.
Myles was quiet tonight.
Right.
Myles was quiet last week.
Right.
So this is 2 straight weeks where an offense has been able to scheme away from Myles Garrett and relegate him to ineffectiveness.
But see,
for the
thing
part.
that you saw tonight, though, you saw double teams on Mack and you saw him on Henderson. When you see 2 D tackles get double teamed, that's huge.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't know that. If you don't know the game, you don't know that that's huge because that's freeing up an extra defender.
Guard center combos.
And so that means those 2 guys are doing their job if they're getting double teamed. Mm-hmm. And they don't get a lot of praise, but I want to highlight those 2 guys because they're starting to come into their own. I think those 2 D tackles are making a name for themselves.
Justin Evans did not play in this football game. He was down there on the sidelines. Mm-hmm. And in his play, starting and playing almost the entire game when it still mattered, if it mattered at all, was Justin Dunning, the freshman. I thought he looked like he belonged out there.
Looked good.
Physical presence, had 5 tackles. And then this game was like, holy cow, they're just running roughshod up and down the field. That first drive, lo and behold, you look up, Justin Dunning saves the day with an interception. Should not have run it out of the end zone.
No.
But saved it with the interception. That was a nice play.
Let me tell you this. Okay, this is what I like. Out of all the tackles, the interception, he made open field tackles in space when the backs broke past the front 7.
Yep.
3 runs that Western Carolina had that were 20-plus explosive plays? Who missed those tackles? It was Watts. And so when you look at that as a whole and you see Dunning coming in and making those security blanket tackles, that's what you want. It's true freshman, Western Carolina, so let's pump the brakes.
Watts had Corey out 2.0, though, on that.
Yeah, he did.
Blowing up that tight end. Whoa!
He did. But as a safety, you got to be able to make those plays and keep those big runs. So that's what I liked from Dunning. You saw hunger, you saw physicality, you saw the ball come, you saw him go get the ball. So I think as a whole, he had a great game. It's something that he can grow off of. And I think it's something he can develop into.
Noyle and Reynolds, they weren't there for their football team. Football is fleeting. Jordan, you'd give anything to play one more snap.
Right.
We've talked about this quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Football is fleeting. And it's just been a wasted year for Speedy Noyle. And now all of a sudden he comes out in a game where he can put up numbers and feel good and get himself going. And Kyler needs those 2 guys on the field for rhythm purposes. Instead of Taboyo and Ratley. He needs Reynolds and Noyle out there. That's not good enough. You got to be better than that for your football team.
It's a shame because I just heard about it right before the game started, that they weren't playing.
Violation of team rules, whatever that means.
And, it hurts the team. But it's like, look, you 2 guys are explosive players with a future in the NFL. And if when you're that young, you're in college, or you're 18, 19 years old, you think this game's never going to end. But at some point, it's going to end. And that glory, that fame, the money, whatever you want to call it, is not going to last forever. So it's like the only thing that's going to last is who you are. And you're developing yourself as a troublemaker. I just call it what it is. You know what I mean?
Josh hadn't had a history of that.
No, he hasn't. I'm talking about Speedy.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that because Speedy has so much potential. He has so much just talent, but you have to be able to